Pues muy buenas noches a todos. Bienvenidos a otro jueves de Mentor Factory, donde tenemos el placer y nada más de tener aquí a nuestro consultor experto en el área de New Jersey, Francisco Hoyos. Lo conocí hace un tiempo atrás porque pues tenía una venta en New Jersey, no tenía quien vendiera allá y lo vi por el Facebook, Power Pioneer, y entonces le dije que si podía hacer la venta y de ahí comenzó nuestra relación. Francisco me ha cerrado muchísimos casos en el área de New Jersey gracias a sus conocimientos y su compromiso, porque una persona que no me dijo que no, no importa, William, yo viajo 3 horas y tengo que viajar y llego allá y cierro el caso, y eso es compromiso. Son personas que están dispuestos, están dispuestos a hacer las cosas pasar.
As I was telling you, I met Francisco in Pioneer, and in New Jersey we have some clients. And one thing that I learned in this business is that you have the knowledge, enough knowledge that you need to have, because the 50% of what you're making and learning and gaining. And that's how we started the relation with Francisco in New Jersey. We have installed several projects over there, and other days we had other clients and present clients to simply in that market. There's a good benefit that we don't have in Texas or in California or in other places. We see the proposals in New Jersey, and it's almost free for the people. That's a good incentive. And Francisco is going to talk to us about those intensive that we can do in New Jersey area, and he's going to talk about how to do this. So Francisco is very welcome. It's very nice to have you here, and congratulations for your business and all the installations in power. He's also certified. He also does a lot of loans if people that need to talk to him in New Jersey. So go ahead, Francisco, and welcome. Thank you, William. Very good, very good. Thank you so much. I value all this that is being here. I know that I don't see you, but behind the scenes or the cell phones, there are a lot of people very capable in mentors and companions of powers, that they had a lot of success. And thank you very much to being here. And let's talk about a little bit of how it functions, the market in New Jersey, things that is going on in the solar market in those areas. And in all the states, they have rules, different rules in every state, and specific rules of that specific state. When we are in other places, we sometimes we don't know what to do when we want to sell, because we're not sure that we're doing a good job, as you said, William, before. So if we don't know the rules, well, we feel feared. It's a pleasure to be here with you to teach you what I've learned in this market. And obviously, if there is something that I could help you with, it will be my pleasure. William, can you hear me? Yes, I can hear you. I was very fine that if people were listening in the English area as well. Excellent. Okay, talk about that, Francisco. Well, basically, as I was talking, it's a pleasure for me to help you all, to teach what I've learned. And if there is something that I could help you, to the people that are here present, the power to teach them what it is necessary to know how to do the cells, correct cells. In New Jersey, and I'm here to help you all. Thank you, Francisco. One thing that people are intrigued are what are the requirements for an installation in New Jersey for the panels? What is the space, the lateral places, and the top of the house? Or some people that they have on the part of the house in the back, like New Jersey, you know how it is in New Jersey. If it is in New Jersey, yeah, it used to be in New Jersey when that didn't exist, because in New Jersey, that installation is not permitted. Sorry, I didn't hear the installation name. What are the requirements for everybody learned the market in New Jersey so they can learn when they are proposing that they can't say to the manager, put every panel on the room and there isn't any space. You cannot say anything like that. So what are the rules, Francisco? That is very important to teach this because I'm gonna prevent you to have a headache. When this law was implanted in New Jersey, as you can see, it can be normal on the roof, but now there is a law in New Jersey. There, you have to leave 3 feet on the top of the house and also to each side. As you know, the highest point of the roof, it has to be left 3 feet on each side and on the roof also. That is, if there is a fire, the fire people can go inside. The same thing on the sides. What William was saying at the beginning is very important, because when you are giving a proposal to give options to the client 100%, what happens when they have the possibility to ignore the law to put all the roof full of panels? That's something that we ignored, the laws. If you sell the panels to the client, and when that happens, we have to, well, we have to put the system down.
Hubo casos en que me tocó eliminar 8 paneles, en otro caso unos 3, 4 paneles, y bueno, en varios casos me tocó eliminar paneles, y eso es muy complicado. Decirle a un cliente que le tiene que eliminar paneles. Entonces es mejor cuando yo pido una revisión, ya siempre digo, por favor, colóquenme más paneles para darle más offset a este cliente, pero siempre les hago la claridad. Pero, por favor, no ignoren el setback low, el fire setback low, porque pues nada me gano con hacer una venta para después tenerla que arreglar en el camino.
Definitivamente, eso es correcto y nos pasó al principio. Me pasó a mí al principio, no saber vender en el mercado, pensaba que era igual que en Texas y de momento yo tenía una propuesta de 24 paneles y me decían que nada más podían poner 19, ¿sabes? Porque no, o según la regla tenía que remover esa cantidad de paneles. Es muy importante tomar ese detalle de no poner, de estar seguro que sabes vender en ese mercado por la restricción. Entiendo que la parte de arriba son 3 pies, ¿verdad? En la parte de arriba.
Sí, 3 pies a cada lado.
1,5 pies y 1,5 pies. ¿Verdad?
Exacto.
Es correcto, ¿verdad? Esas son las restricciones. 3 arriba, ¿qué quiere decir? Que si tienes un techo, vamos a hacer un ejemplo aquí, voy a poner una propuesta aquí. Esta fue vendida en New Jersey, pero si tienes un techo de esta manera, aquí en esta parte tienen que haber 3 pies. Aquí en esta parte tienen que haber 3 pies, pero aquí tiene que ser 1,5 y 1,5, 1,5 y 1,5. Aquí abajo no tiene que haber ningún tipo de espacio en la parte de abajo. Puede estar pegadito.
Exacto.
Entonces, esas son las restricciones en el área de New Jersey. ¿Ok? Vamos a darle aquí. Esta ya se fue instalado. Ahora bien, hablando de eso, aquí mismo hay aquí no me está saliendo, aunque sí, aquí está saliendo. Esta es una propuesta vieja, como ya espero, se puso catch. Pero aquí hay un incentivo que tenemos en New Jersey que se llama New Jersey Solar Rec 2. Explícanos acerca de ese incentivo en New Jersey, cómo funciona.
Bueno, William, ese incentivo hace muy atractivo este mercado porque realmente le ayuda mucho. Como podemos ver ahí, es un incentivo que está hablando de $14,482 que el dueño de casa va a tener de parte del Estado del programa que se llama New Jersey Clean Energy. Entonces, básicamente es como una especie de auxilio que el Estado le va a dar al dueño de casa, se lo va a dar durante 180 meses. Entonces, ¿cómo hacemos para la venta? Sencillo. Cogemos, en este caso, los $14,482 y lo dividimos en 180 meses. Entonces, si cogemos ahí 14,482, 14,400, perdón, un minuto, 14,482 dividido 180 meses. Eso quiere decir que este cliente va a recibir un promedio de $80 mensuales. 81 dólares mensuales durante 180 meses, el Estado le va a mandar ese dinero.
Y eso
El
es un
cliente,
promedio, ¿verdad? Eso es un promedio.
sí, o sea, eso está basado básicamente, William, en la producción del sistema solar. Entonces podemos hacerlo como un ejemplo, un sistema de 10 kilowatts. Cada 1,000 kilowatts se va a producir un SREX que estaba en $90 hasta el mes pasado, pero en marzo bajó a $85. Entonces, cada 1,000 kilowatts que el sistema solar produce va a producir $85 para el dueño de casa.
Vamos a hacer un ejemplo rapidito para que la gente
Sí.
vaya en la misma página que nosotros. Si este cliente le quedó el loan en $225 y ese mes él produjo un total de 1,000 kilovatios más. ¿Okay? Para Silvia, 1,000 watts, 1,000 kilowatts, lo puedes decir en inglés igual. ¿Okay? 225 quiere decir que el cliente recibirá un depósito de parte del XREC de $80. Podemos decir que ese cliente en ese mes, en vez de pagar 225, estaría pagando menos 225, ¿verdad? Estaría pagando un total de 144,54 centavos ese mes.
Exactamente.
¿Verdad? Entonces, así es la manera de uno presentarlo para que sea más atractivo. Entonces, señor cliente, usted va a pagar $225 por mes con solar, a diferencia de que usted está pagando, vamos a poner, en este caso, este no es el precio real, esto se cambió todo. ¿Cuánto está el promedio en New Jersey?
19 centavos, 19.
Ok,
Es lo
19. 174, y le podemos decir a esa persona, ¿verdad? Usted está pagando 174, con solar solamente te va a quedar en 145, que es mucho menos que lo que estás pagando. Entonces, eso es súper beneficioso, ¿verdad que sí?
Exacto. Entonces, es básicamente el dueño de casa, o sea, de la financiera, el dueño de casa le descuentan los 225 de Goodleap, Mosaic, cualquiera que sea la financiera, pero el dueño de casa pone pues su cuenta en el programa de HRES para que le lleguen los $80 a su cuenta. Entonces, Por un lado, pues paga 225, pero por otro lado, el Estado le manda $80, lo cual exactamente llegamos a lo mismo.
Perfecto, perfecto. Entonces, ahora bien, si el cliente no produce 1000 kilowatts ese mes, ¿qué pasaría?
Sencillamente, si no produce 1000 kilowatts, sino que produce 900, por así decirlo, entonces no va a ser $85, sino que va a ser quizás $80, $79, pero siempre va a tener el incentivo.
Perfecto, siempre le van a depositar algo. Okay.
Exacto, y si produce más, obviamente, porque es que es basado en la producción del sistema.
Ok, y si produce 1500, le dan base a esos 1500.
Sería aproximadamente $120, exacto.
Okay. Perfecto, gracias por aclarar eso, porque me habían explicado que si no producía 1000, le iban a, que no cobraba nada en ese mes, que pasaba al siguiente mes. Entonces eso es lo que me habían dicho de ese mercado y gracias por la aclaración, porque me habían dicho que ese mes que recibió, aquí parece que se me desconectó Silvia, déjame ver un segundito, espérate. Silvia, un segundito.
Tranquilo.
Dame añadirla aquí, dame darle stop sharing aquí un segundo. Dame assign. Déjame ver. Sí. Ok, Silvia, ya te puedes darle un mute otra vez, por favor. Date un mute. Dale un mute, Silvia. Ok, listo.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Yes, I'm so sorry. What they have explained to me is that solar rec, if you haven't done 1,000 qualibacks, the client didn't receive anything, but after they accumulated 1,000, they would send them that check. They were explaining us that way. But thank you for us to explain that way. Jorge Madrid says 900 kilowatts. It's about 90%. They will give him 90%. If I have 500, they give you 45. They would give you 42.50. Exactly. Perfect. Now, another question, in what stage it could be utilized, the solar rec? Because it's not only in New Jersey, it's also you have sold it in other areas. Yes, there are some states here in the area specifically near Pennsylvania that there are some projects, but it's less expensive. It's about $42 per kilowatt. Where can we find that information of the solar rec to see the market? Do you have a website? Yes. I'm going to share to your website, and then you can put it in the website. It's specifically here in New Jersey, but you can actually find it in the browser in Pennsylvania the same way. Farid has a question. The utilities, how many utilities do we have? Is a monopoly, or there is only one utility, or people can change from one company to another? That question is very interesting. Well, here is not as complicated. There are a lot of companies that probably in Florida same, but basically here there are 3 companies that they manage the state. One of them, the most important and the best, the one to sell, is TCNG. It handles a rate about 19 or 20 cents, 20 or 23 per kilowatt sometimes. It's relatively expensive. The kilowatt, which it's attractive to sell with them. Another one that is very good to sell solar because the rates, the cost, the kilowatt is high, is Atlantic City Electric. Exactly, it's a company, very big company that charge a lot for the kilowatt, so that help us when we are selling. And the third one is GCP&L. That company, the three I would say are very similar in territory. The three of them are very regulated, and the three of them manage the one-to-one. And another thing is that it is very inexpensive. What do you call it? The basic charge that you have to pay to the electric company for having solar. Can you please repeat the three companies? The first one is PSC, PSE&G. PSE&G. It's in the chat, I guess. PSE&G. Perfect. Then we have PFG and what's the other one? Atlantic City Electric. Atlantic City Electric. And what is the most recommendable, the one that you can say is the best to sell? The one that I like the most is the first one, PSCFG. The kilowatt is very expensive, and you know, people wants to solar as fast. So that will be the market that people, they see the difference when they're paying so much in the electricity. And when we present a proposal, like the decision to change, it is less, it's easier than the others. With the REC, the SPREC is very easy if you explain it that way, the way that you are explaining it, because it's going to be an incentive that it will be practically that they can use that to pay their loan of the solar loans. Very good, perfect. Another question. I was going to say the other company is Atlantic City Electric. That one, the rates are similar to both of those companies for the cost of squalid. The Atlantic's about 20, 22 cents, something like that. What is the cost of the first one? About 19, around 19 and 20 cents, almost the same. And the third one, GCP&L, that one, it is very inexpensive. It's not too attractive on the solar level because the rates, the cost per kilowatt is about 14 cents. But what I think anyway, it will be still less to pay the electricity. It doesn't matter if it is high or low, but it is still, you know, it's the same. It's better. Solar rect is always helpful. Solar rec, it helps the market because, yeah, you can sell with them as well. And the savings for the house owner is good. Do they pay one-on-one, includes everything, or they have to pay a basic rate of the utilities? Like PSEFG, there is a base, they have a what is the additional charge that they have, that they want one-on-one? What is the other charges that they have to pay? Are there any charges in that area extra? Yeah, well, that is what makes this market good, because it's only $4 with 95 cents. That's the basic charge. I actually want to show you a bill, electric bill of a invoice post solar. It's an invoice post solar. Can you share that? If you have it there, can you share it with us? Because it's going to be a good benefit. And there's so many other questions that I need to ask you too. Exactly. Then let me see, I'm going here so I can show you. Can you see the bill? Yes, of course. Exactly. This is a bill from the first company, 4.59, the basic charge. Exactly. Here on the top,
En la parte de acá tenemos
and here we have the usage out, if you can read it. Usage out means the energy that produced the solar system that was sent to the electric grid within a month, right? The usage, and here the usage in is the energy that the client of the owner of the house consumed of what it was sent to the electric company in that month. If you can see that the owner of the house had 1477 kilowatt, and he consumed only 459 kilowatts on that month, right? So he will be saving 482 kilowatts. And here it adds, if you can see down there, they add what they have brought from the month. So that way, while the house owner has credit in his invoice, the only thing that he's going to pay the company, the electric company, is just that, $4.95. That charge cannot be eliminated. It doesn't matter. What you have to do is $4.95 in the bill of the electric bill. Exactly. You have to put note on this. The client is always going to receive at $4.95 every time. Every time, if he has a 100% set, he's going to receive 100 and 120. It doesn't matter what that charge that you see, it's not reduced from the credit that he's producing. Exactly. There's always going to be paid that charge. It doesn't matter if he has 1,000 kilowatts in his savings, he has to pay that. Thank you very much for that. You have explained what it is a 101. What is another question that we have now? Let's see. It says here there are limits of size of the system. What is the most that it can be if there is a restriction? What can we do? Okay. Those are things that are not that good here. They're very controlled. They're controlled the lot set. What I recommend is that it could be managed an offset of 104 or 105%. If it goes over. Okay, perfect. Very good question. The answer of that question, another question was that it happened to me in New Jersey, and this question is if to the one that it can be installed a system of ground mount. There is a city that it doesn't permit that. Practically, I couldn't do that sale because the client didn't have a space on the roof, and what it was just the patio, but the city told me that you cannot install it there. There are some parts that was in the state of New Jersey that happened to me. I don't remember where or how it was, which electric company was. I need to look at it in the system. I'm going to look for it right now, that it cannot be done that ground there. There are some restrictions in New Jersey that it doesn't permit for you to do that ground mount. I haven't done that many. I don't have that many experience. I was doing one for a person in the New Jersey City, but it couldn't be done also because they were because they wanted the city wanted was a minimum that the house whole has two minimum two, what is it called, of the ground. It has a name that it was big, that's similar to the an acre. It's something like that. I don't remember. It has to be a very big lot. It has to be a very big lot where the system. I'm going to explain to New Jersey because this project, I understand the project. I found the project that I was talking to you about before. I'm going to share it on the screen. This is the project that I brought that unfortunately the city didn't let me do it. It couldn't be installed in ground mount. It couldn't be installed, the ground mount. And it was in this utility. PSG&G is not that the utility that restricted is the city, Hamilton City. That county doesn't permit this ground mount. As you can see, the client was a lot of trees. I wanted her to have a ground mount here, so it will be a space without obstruction of any sun. But I couldn't do that cell because it wasn't beneficial for the client. So I couldn't do the cell because it wasn't a beneficial situation for the client. I just, the client didn't want to, cut the trees or things like that. That's very important. Oh, I remember it needs to be 2 acres. In almost all the towns in New Jersey, it has to be 2 acres for them to permit at least 2 acres of territory. That's how a ground mount can be done. Perfect. 2 acres. Please write that down, at least 2 acres to do a ground mount in the cities that are permitting it to be installed, of course. Let's see what other questions they're doing. We're about to finish shortly. There is a limited of the side of the system, 104, 105%. High kilowatt, favorable kilowatt. There's another question. New Jersey, we have to put a specific attic in New Jersey or something more common that you can see over there. Well, specifically, there is something that good for this market is in the area of travel. It's not necessary with the county because the country is not as big. Then power covers the whole territory without necessary to put travel adder because that's a good point of sales. On the other hand, basically, the adders that we know, like BIM panel upgrade, 30 years of warranty, multiple arrays if it's necessary. Multiple arrays if it's necessary. If you can also add the attic room, is not something that is they're requiring it. Also, they can manage the electric engineering. A question that come up, I'm asking you about what happened if we install the system 120%? They will have to lower down the siren system. Practically, it will be an order change or change order to change the panels, and possibly in that change, the client will be, you know, they can cancel. That's, yeah, they will cancel. If we don't do a change of order, it will be the best. If what would you do if you can do a bigger system, or they need to wait until I have that? What would you do in that case? If there is only one possibility that it can be managed, if the client needs more electricity, is to cancel the account that is already there and to open a new account. Exactly, that's very important. And you can do that. If, for example, if the account at PCNG is under the name of the spouse, then they can cancel that and upgrade another one as the wife name, under the wife name. In this case, we can fill out what we call the electric calculator. That is, but you can actually manipulate that. It cannot be manipulated, but it normally gives you much higher than what the client normally consume in the house, what the house consumes. Just to saying, if we can go to the utensils, the electric calculator, I can show you if you don't know it. That's very important to have the calculator, how you utilize it. Can you please show it to us? That point that you just say is very important and very interesting, because in Connecticut, it also happens that you cannot sell an offset.
Tú le puedes poner lo que a ti te dé la gana por ahí para arriba.
If you can do another account for that, you can add anything. If there is a story of usage, you cannot pass to that pass from 105. In Connecticut, there isn't any restriction on how much you can sell and off sell. In Connecticut, there is no problem. 120, 110 in that area. But in New Jersey, it could happen what Francisco said. So you have to use the electric calculator that you have it here. Those are very important points, because if the owner of the house has only 10 months of consume, or 8 months of consume, or 7 months of consume, you cannot say because you have 8 months of consuming and 8 months you have consumed 7,000 kilowatts, then I'm going to put a 10,000 kilowatts so to compensate that electrical company. The electrical company will understand that it didn't have 12 months of, it doesn't work, that they will cancel that system and they're going to make you lower down the size to the 7,000. The company solar is going to recognize the consume that it's going to be in the bill. That's it. It doesn't permit anymore. In that case, we have to fill out the electrical residential electrical calculator is very easy. You can see over here up, this is information of the house owner. It's very easy. This information is basic. And here, simply, you have to fill out how utensils of he has, and each thing that he has, the refrigerator, how many of them, one or two, all that. And here it says, actually you feel over here in that column when it says quantity, you can see it now. It is amplified. You can simply put the quantity that they are. And here in this part, it says how much is consuming that utensil each month. And here it says how many months it's been used. For example, the refrigerator that we have over there, example that you have over there, if we have only one, it could be 56 times 12, and it gives you the amount of energy that it will be consuming that specific utensil. the refrigerator 52 but for 12 will be 652 a year. If there are two, you just multiply it by 2. And that's how it goes. You can add all of them. Some of those are 5 months of usage. And for example, here we have one that only can be multiplied by 5. Sorry. Here, down here, 3.5. 3.5. This is very important because like the air condition that it only be used basically in summer, right? So for example, the AC, if you go down over here, the AC, one AC of 2 tunnels, 3 tunnels is usual. What they use, let's say there's one of those, it consumes 750, but for 3.5 months, then you multiply that 750 that consumes at months times 3.5, it will be 3,025 a year. And that's what we put over here in this in front. We add the amount and we add the amount here. We sum over here and we put the amount here. When it says customer signature, I'm putting it back in here bigger. I don't see that there is an electric car in there. Is it in there? No, it's not included yet in this in the here. How can we do if the client has an electric car? It will be putting it in there. How can we do it? It's addendum. If we want to put more consumage, or we have to like put more refrigerator to justify that. Like what I'm saying is easier to manipulate a little bit. We can add a little bit more here. And normally, if the owner of the house I've done this before, about it gives 50 or 70% maximum of what the owner of the house consumes differently that it was here calculated. If you if you add in the electrical calculator with the things in the house plus and put it 100% of what it gives him, we can if it's like about 10, 5, 10, 50 kilowatts of the consume of the house, if you put it less than 15, it's going to cover the electrical cost if you use this electrical calculator. I'm not listening to you, William. The things I have an electrical car because the car electrical consumes about every mile, it will be about 2.5% to 3 kilowatts per mile. Therefore, if the person, it depends on how many miles he goes, like 1,000 miles a month, it will talking about that he's utilizing about 9,000 miles, about 1,000 miles miles. We will divide it by 333 kilowatts times 1,000, that if he drives 1,000 miles a month. So that's how I calculate the uses of electric car. There's another person that wants to ask a question live. Fari, how are you doing? If you want to add a little bit more about this subject, you can do it. Well, another option of a electric car is that you can since it's not included, you have to have an invoice. And if you have the car, you can add the consume. You have to prove that you have bought the car. If you have an invoice that you have purchased the car,
Bueno, ¿podrías dónde podemos conseguir esto?
Where can we find this? Can you share it in the chat? What will be the electrical consumption, the calculator? I can share that with you right now. I can put it in the chat, or what I can do, I can give it to you and you can just put it back in there. Okay, perfect. Go ahead, Fadi, if you have the question.
Alte un mute. Dame darte aquí. Dale un mute ahora.
Hola, mucho por el entrenamiento primeramente.
Thank you for the training. I'm going to say hi first to everybody. How are you doing? Francisco, how are you doing? It was a pleasure to see you here, brother. The same. Quick question. Two, not too long. One, when we are talking about the X-Rays, when there is already an installation and when the contract is about to finish, there needs to be signed something extra like Illinois, or it works differently. That's a contract terms. And there is any other process that the client needs to do, or we have to do with the client, that like sign himself with a different market like in Illinois? So just to have a little more idea of how it works. And of course, last, what are areas that you are covering in person? What counties? If there is something that happened to me, I can contact you just to know that. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you to you, Fari. It's a very important question, Fari. For the X-Res, the power, where first, when the client is signing the contract, it is included the document to initiate the solar system. Then, when the system is installed, there is a person from Power that is in charge. I can share that email of that person that is in charge directly to do the connection between Power and the client and this program, Clean Init. This person in Power is in charge to fill out the documents and everything that it needs to be do to introduce, just to say, introduce this system, the solar system, to the program that the client has. And the last part of the process, the programmer's client needs to send, the client sends a formula that the house owner needs to fill out with the information of the system, the solar system, things like that. Basically, in the contract, there is an agreement. The person has to be there so the program can start sending him the money. Also has to have a bank account so they can put the money automatically in there, or take the decision that it will be by check. Or and they can decide how long they want the money to be arrived, 3 months, every year. The other part is what I was saying. The New Jersey state is not too big. I go to almost to all the places that is necessary. I can drive at least an hour and a half of distance. I could take care of. Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Muchísimas gracias por esa pregunta.
Thank you for that question, Farid. It's very important. Another question in the chat, which only have a few more minutes.
Sí, Ruth Elizabeth, eso fue un ejemplo de
Elizabeth
3 kilowatts por
put an example about 3 kilowatts, 3 miles per kilowatt. It's the opposite, Elizabeth. The conversion is the opposite. That's in test. Like each car has a specific specifications. Like the gas cars, that they have different type of mileages per gallon. It's the same thing with electric. The conversion is different. It's kilowatts per mile. instead of miles per kilowatt. And in New Jersey state, it doesn't need a license to put electrical. Only Connecticut and California in the state of power is they need license. There's anything else that you want to add, Francisco? No, William, I think that all is good because we have covered almost all that per kilowatts. I think we have covered everything that it is important in the market.